Coming up now on Animal Outtakes, we're getting up close to see what all the buzz is about, how honeybees help our world exist as it is, and what this Myakka man is looking for when checking on his colonies. And becoming part of a barn family. We're visiting a ranch that helps people learn how to care properly for horses, how hard work and patience can pay off for both the human and the horse. This and much more straight ahead on Animal Outtakes. We start this week's show a little uncomfortable, where we visit a property that's host to several honeybee colonies, where you have to wear a full bodysuit in this Florida heat, and you can't always trust your instincts. The number one rule: don't swat at a buzzing bee if you don't want to get stung. It's where we caught up with James Cutway, the head beekeeper at Myakka's Gold Apiary. He's known around town as the man to call if you find an unwanted hive at your house. And he doesn't get rid of the bees he rescues. He relocates them and puts them back to work. So we think it's fair to say he is just as busy as the bees he cares for.
We're going to do a couple of inspections this morning. Something that I always like to do is when you walk up, you kind of look and see what's going on. And you can see the different quantities of bees. I'm a beekeeper. We do honey and live bee relocations. We do a variety of different honeys. We actually move our bees around different locations in Manatee, Sarasota counties, so we keep a local honey. But by moving them around, we can pinpoint specific sources of honey, and it's generally referred to as a monosource, a single source, versus like great-grandpa that kept bees. He would harvest honey once a year, and it would be multiple honeys, and then when they extracted it, it just all kind of went together. Whereas with doing a monosource honey, when one season is done, we pull the honey supers, extract them, give the bees fresh boxes, and we move. And then when the next nectar flow is done, we repeat the process. We just keep being vagabonds, for lack of better words. When you're doing your inspections, you kind of watch and see what's the activity and what's going on. Are they coming back heavy, just loaded with nectar, or are they coming back with pollens? And you can usually see the pollens right on their back legs. I'm still haven't perfected it. It's beekeeping. Beekeeping is agriculture. The difference being is my livestock are this big. The pollen is part of their food source, just like the honey is. And what they do is they will bring the pollen in and mix it with enzymes and then store it in the cells. And they refer to that as bee bread. See that nice pretty comb that's getting pushed out to the side? They use the nectar from the plants to make that comb. So the honeycomb, the brood comb, and the honey are all made from the same things, which is the nectar. Like every beekeeper thought I had it figured out about the 4th or 5th year, and then Mother Nature went, watch this. And it was an abysmal year that year. And then build up, and then something happens, and build up, and something happens. You know, we are very dependent on Mother Nature. You know, if the season is drier than it's supposed to be, it changes the honey, it changes the nectar flow. If it's wetter than it's supposed to be, it changes the honey, it changes the nectar flow. So we can do everything right and still not have anything work, unfortunately. There's about 50 colonies out here. Right now, most of these colonies are probably in the 50, 60,000 range per colony. Most of them are self-raised in that what we do is we let them get up to a certain size, and then we do what's referred to as a split, where you take part of several colonies to make another colony, and then either let them self-generate their own queen, or you can purchase a queen. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take a look and see how well the queen is laying up in here. I have been told in the summertime, the sound of the bees around you, because the colonies are really at their strongest then, would drive a normal person insane. So I guess that says something about me. This and this is all capped brood, and that's all girls. So these will be female worker bees. These cells, see how they're much bigger? They're deeper, they're sticking out. These are all drones. Those will be boys. And then this is what's referred to as a queen cup. That's in case something happens, we've got an emergency house to make a new queen. We'll pull out a couple more frames and see if we can find the queen. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. When you're doing an inspection, it's not necessary to really find her. What you're looking for is good community health, which you can see again. This is all just capped brood. I guess it's that self-entrepreneur mentality. You know, you reap everything that you sow. If you don't put your due diligence in and you don't put your shoulder to the grindstone, it doesn't happen. And I guess that's what kind of keeps me going. There she is. The other aspect of what we do, in addition to the honey, is we do live bee relocations. A pretty nice, calm, cool colony. They were probably 10 feet from the woman's front door in the front wall of the house. So I actually had to disassemble part of the front of her house. Last night I was down in Sarasota and the bees were 20 feet from their front door and the woman was allergic to bees. So I opened up the side of their house and removed an entire colony of bees, and that's what's in that box. And there she goes. Perfect. And if you look at them all coming up and coming to her. The queen is in here. And if you watch, they're all going to come to the boss lady. These are European honeybees. European honeybees, just like the name implies, are phenomenal honey makers. And that's what their end game is, to make honey. A good box this size should hold, depending on the honey, somewhere between 25 and 35 pounds, which makes these boxes about 60 pounds when they're full. Topically, it has tremendous healing properties. It will, for like wound care and burns and lacerations, that type of thing, it will greatly increase the speed in which you heal. A lot of times to the point where when it heals, you don't even have any scarring left. A lot of folks use it for allergy purposes. They take the honey to help with their allergies. Allergists will tell you it doesn't work. I have 10 or 15 people a week that come by my stand that tell me how great it's working for them. So I say the proof's in the pudding. They're handing stuff off. That, and they're checking, making sure that you belong here. That's how they keep other bees from coming into their colony. They have guards. Relocating them is the better option. One, because you're not killing the colony. And two, if you tried to go with the pesticide and killing them, more than likely you're going to do more damage to yourself than you are to them, because you don't have access to be able to get to the colony. And unfortunately, if you did become successful, you're going to be left with a horrible mess in your house, because everything decays and rots. We know what that attracts in Florida. You can actually, once you've played with them long enough, you can actually learn how to steer them. They say herding cats is bad, but to put it in perspective, the almond farmers in California, come the end of January, beginning of February, they bring pretty much any bee that's not nailed down in the US to California to pollinate the almonds. The almond farmers get about a 400% increase in yield by bringing those bees in. If they don't have those in, you know, that bag of almonds that's $10 now goes to $40 for the same size bag. Our watermelons, cucumbers, cantaloupes, all that kind of stuff. A lot of our agricultural crops are pollinated by bees. America has a vast variety of native species bees. As our habitat goes away, the agricultural lands go away, and the cattle ranchers are what I work with, because they don't put pesticides and herbicides on, which keeps that buffer around my bees, which keeps the bees out of it, which keeps it out of the honey, versus doing the agricultural pollination, which I don't do, because that compounds the pesticides and herbicides in the honey and in the colonies. She's in there laying. We've got stick eggs. Oh, there she is.
Okay.
There she is.
What is that?
That's the queen.
She runs this.
She controls it. The palmetto that's blooming right now, this is the bloom. You can see them, they're actually working on it right now. See, she's looking for nectar down in there because she doesn't have any pollen stacked on her legs in the back. So she's working for nectar. One of the big things, obviously everybody loves a beautifully manicured yard. It's not the greatest for the bees or the environment. You know, a little bit of diversity. If you have your weeds that are coming up, if they're flowering, don't spray them. Because when you apply a herbicide to that plant that's flowering, the bees are now exposed to it. And that herbicide goes back into the colony. And it's a poison. It's a poison that's designed for plants, but it's a poison. If you don't like the weeds, don't spray them, mow them. And then once they're not flowering, then if you have to spray them when they're not flowering. And that helps cut down on the poisons into the colonies. Oh, this is a good, healthy community. And it's not just the bees, it's all kinds of different insects that live in our environment. And unfortunately, as we take out one piece of the environment, usually other pieces suffer. So, you know, more biodiversity, the better.
If you'd like more information on James and his work, you can go online to Myakka's Gold Apiary on Facebook. He's also often at the local farmers markets selling the homegrown honey. Coming up next on Animal Outtakes, how hard work can pay off in more ways than one when it comes to caring for horses. That's all after the break. Welcome back. It can be said the mutual love and respect between a human and a horse is something you can't always put into words. It's a feeling you just have to feel to understand the emotional connection. That's why at the Red Flag Ranch, trainers want people working with horses to know how to care for these magnificent animals properly.
We are at Red Flag Ranch in Myakka City, Florida. We do lessons, we do pony yoga, we do horse club on the weekends, and we mainly cater to kids. We do adult lessons as well. I think just growing up being a horse girl and wanting to go out to the barn and just do fun stuff with my horse rather than structured lessons all the time made me want to have my own place and a place for kids and adults to come and just enjoy their horses. A lot of kids don't get time outside and they are on their computers and their tablets and they don't know what it takes to take care of an animal. And coming here, they get to learn how to groom, they scoop poop, they clean hooves, they know how to put on their own tack, and they ride independently. I think it gives them a lot of confidence and teaches them how to be responsible.
You have to check if the girth is right or the reins are on or tight.
You get to feed them, and after riding, if they do a good job or even if they're a little sassy like Elsa, we can give them treats. It brings joy to me, and like if I'm having like a rough day, it just like relieves me from like everything.
If like a teacher teach you how to how to speak to them, then they might understand you and understand. They can feel how you feel when you are near them. They can feel how you're sad, mad, or nervous, or any feeling you have.
I think it gives them compassion, empathy, helps them relate to other people. And the horses respond to body language, and I think that kind of helps them in the real world as well.
I clean the stalls, do the feed, sometimes feed. I do water filling and take care of the horses.
Lots of trust, and they are very calming, and they just make you feel really good.
I have loved animals and horses all my life, and they have such a huge impact on your mental health, and it is just such a gift to be around them. They can change your day completely, and just, being able to, everything that you do directly impacts the well-being of a creature who needs you, and who's, they're always really appreciative. And my favorite thing about being out here is they make you really aware of yourself. You can't hide how you're feeling, you can't hide who you are, they know. And it really brings you down to earth in a way that can be kind of impossible with the city noise and the crowd and the traffic and all the stress of the day.
You learn a lot of hard work being here. A lot of the stuff that you do is very repetitive. So patience, understanding, social cues, not even from people, the animals. You learn to pick up on things that you normally wouldn't, which I think is super important.
I think being able to work and respond to a 1,200-pound animal and have them react to you and do what you want them to do, you can't force them to do anything. So when they do it, it's really cool.
Some part of it, I would say, almost is the work. It doesn't really feel like work when you enjoy it, these horses aren't really it's not a chore. It's called chores, but it's not coming out here and doing a chore. You're hanging out with animals that appreciate you and vice versa. There's a mutual respect. It doesn't really feel like work. I am going out to Colorado to Steamboat Springs to be a wrangler this summer. Try to come out every day and help out where I can with the chores and everything, and they in turn have helped me an enormous amount with learning how to ride.
There's a lot of safety that goes into it. There's some safe zones where we can approach the horses. There's some areas that are maybe not so safe that we talk about how you can move around your horse and be safe. We always wear helmets. We always ride in the arena. We do go on trail rides with the kids as well. The horses are very trained and know what to do, and a lot of trust.
Steer them and how to sit on the saddle, and have to control them if they're going the ways that you don't want them to go. You have to tell them which way you want them to go and what speed.
The kids are more focused when they're here. They're more well behaved. They listen better because it's something that they enjoy and they want to do, and they get good results when they listen and when they're focused. I think you learn a lot of patience, and I think you end up learning a lot about yourself because your horse responds to your energy, and if you're being really aggressive with your horse, they're going to kind of fight you and be aggressive. If you're being nice and calm, your horse is going to be nice and calm. So I think it helps you regulate your emotions a little bit.
I mean, this is magic. These horses that they get to ride and care for and get to know and develop relationships with, they'll take this with them for the rest of their lives. They get to see the direct impact and consequence of being responsible, being a caretaker.
For much more information, you can go to equinesrq.com. Stay with us. There's more animal outtakes coming up next.
You can find wildlife everywhere, whether you're in your backyard or the local park. There are animals to be seen. And sometimes you just need to follow those little clues like a hole in the dirt or a ripple in the water to find things that you didn't know were there before. The anole lizard. We had a hard time finding this one because it is so camouflage. The anoles come in many, many different shades of brown. Sometimes they have stripes of green or red or yellow along their back. In order to help them camouflage, they also have a special behavior where sometimes it looks like they're doing push-ups. But actually doing this motion of a push-up helps them to camouflage with the motion of the leaves as they sway with the wind, keeping them even more safe from birds passing by. Their tails can detach if a predator is attacking them. If the predator grabs the tail, the lizard can still escape because that tail comes off, and then later it will regrow to form a brand new tail. Oh yeah, and when that tail detaches from the body of the lizard, it can still wiggle around and move, which helps keep the predator distracted while the animal escapes. They do regrow their tail, and it does not, well, you know, I'm sure it probably hurts a little bit. It's hard to say how much because that's something that we can't really measure, but we do know that the animals escape easily after that tail comes off, and we also know that it regrows, so it probably hurts minimally. Along with all the animals and plants that you might find in your backyard, you might also find trash. Trash, like plastics, are often found where wildlife live, and they can mistake it for the things that they normally eat. So Take 3 for the Sea is a worldwide hashtag going around so that we can help save these animals and prevent them from eating it on accident. Take 3 for the Sea means picking up 3 pieces of trash on a daily basis. And working as a team, we can help clean up our environment and prevent these animals from getting hurt because of our mistakes with our trash. That's Take 3 for the Sea. Take 3 for the sea. Take 3 for the sea.
And we'll be right back.
Animal Outtakes is produced by Dante's Den Foundation, a nonprofit group dedicated to creating the best life for dogs. If you would like to learn more about Dante's Den, donate, or volunteer, visit our website, dantesden.org.
We hope you had fun and learned a thing or two along the way. We'll be back here again next week with even more animals and some engaging encounters. Until then, thanks for watching.
We have a funny name for the ranch, and we call it Red Flag Ranch because my boyfriend says that dating a horse girl is a red flag. And he's very right.
Yeah, there's a common thing where, you know, go get your horse to go. It's like, hey yeah, let's, you know, crank the reins, but it's not quite the same as that.
It's not like the movies.
No.